I'm asking our photographer here if maybe I can kind of stand here so that I can communicate a little more directly with you. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. Larry, it's interesting. We have been writing down the names and the dates and the clubs of each of the places we've been, and there's 72 of them on there now. So this will be number actually 73. And then we've got 74 tomorrow and 75 on Thursday, and we will have been to all 75 of the clubs and satellites. And it's been just the adventure of a lifetime. Actually wrote a little thing for the newsletter with that. And how many people who are in their early 70s get to meet 3,300 new people in 75 clubs and satellites in 4 different states? Wow. There we go. What an opportunity.
She was excited about it.
Yeah.
You're excited about that.
Hey, don't feel bad. I did that in Owasso and got everybody wet, so.
Marilyn's excited to be done.
Yeah, she's had a lot of fun. We really have. And, you know, our district, I bet you all know this, but it is the largest one in North America, both in geographic space, certainly the only one that has parts of 4 states, and in number of clubs. And we have in our state 10 clubs, in Kansas 10 clubs, in Arkansas there are 22, and in Oklahoma 31. And so what an adventure it has been. And you know, I like to say that this gives us hybrid vigor, because the experience of somebody from Nevada, which is getting up close to Kansas City, is going to be quite a bit different than someone who's in McAlester, Oklahoma. The experience of somebody in Iola, Kansas is going to be quite a lot different than somebody in Boonville, Arkansas, which is getting close to Little Rock. So we just go everywhere with our district. And that allows us then to interact with folks who've had many different life experiences, but are connected by their being Rotarians. And so, how many of you, the one gentleman has been a Rotarian for how many years now?
63.
Whoa! You've got just about everybody else that we've met beat. I'm just a neophyte. I've been in Rotary for 44 years. And how, anybody else, Larry, how long have you been in Rotary?
32.
Okay. And you, sir?
This is the middle of my 6th year.
Oh, okay. Anybody else who's maybe around 10 or more? Okay.
Oh, 30. 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm
Well,
32 years.
very good. Well, you know, when you've done something, whatever it is in life, and you've done it for a long time, you need to start asking some questions about it. What is it that makes this organization so special? What is it that makes me want to contribute a lot of time, effort, money to it, to be part of it? And I'd like to present 5 points that I think are what make Rotary so special. Number 1, absolutely positively, is the people. And wherever you go, it's the people. Marilyn and I have seen that in all the clubs that we visited in this district, but I bet some of you have made up at other clubs. Is that show of hands? How? Okay. Any of you done that internationally? Oh, where did you?
In Germany.
Good.
My children were foreign exchange students there, and they never had a woman visit.
Oh, it's a little different in some
Yeah,
places, yes.
It was a true experience.
It was, but Marilyn and I made up a number of years ago in one of the clubs in London, and those folks invited us in and were just as warm as they could be. It was like old home days. And so wherever you are in the world, the Rotarians are going to be really special people who are altruistic. They want to do the right thing for their communities and for the world. And we can compare notes no matter what language or background we share. So number 1 is the people. Number 2, something that I didn't understand right off the get-go. I was a real happy Rotarian in Nevada for 40 years, and it's really rather isolated. It is at the far northeast corner of the district, and so I didn't understand how international Rotary was. It was something that we just kind of went to the meetings. The governor came once a year, usually from Tulsa, and then we went back to doing whatever we were. But I did something that maybe some of the others of you have had the opportunity to do. Any of you done District Leadership Academy? You did, that's what I thought.
And
Patty.
Patty's doing it
Okay,
now.
yeah, I'll tell you, it's, when I did
That's
that,
Patty, right?
yeah, when I was gonna be the president for the second time of the Nevada Club, I decided, well, maybe I need to know a little bit more about this organization, and I just learned so much. And one of the things was, I learned how international it is. Now, anybody wanna make a guess? I know some of them already know, but how many, countries in the world have a Rotary Club tradition? Anybody know? You might think that 200. That's basically every country in the world. You know, and the number of countries keeps expanding because every Pacific island decides that they're going to be a separate country. And now, I know you have, and how many of you have been to international conventions? Okay. And you may remember that the first thing they do when in the opening session is to bring out all the flags. It takes 45 minutes to do that now. And yet, whoa, does that give you the impression of the international nature and all these wonderful people that you meet. The International Convention is a great way to also determine that. Marilyn and I went to Houston, which was 3 years ago. It was the first time we'd been to one, and we were just amazed at all these 14,000 people from all over the world who were there. And so you have the opportunity to do that this go around in June of 2025. It's a driving trip for some people, and let's see, who was it was going? Oh, yeah. You're going to be driving. You can fly, you can do whatever. As we were mentioning, because I have a lot of relatives in Montana, I'm used to driving back and forth there, and you get on I-15 in Great Falls and go north, and boom, there you are at Calvary. So think about it. We're hoping that there'll be at least 50 people there, and we've got 30 signed up. We'll have a little get-together of the Rotarians from our district at that time also. Other ways that you can experience the international thing. Have any of you ever heard of district to district? It's a new thing that was started by the Iola Club a couple years ago. We are now partner districts with 4355 in the southern part of Chile. That's Patagonia, kind of the Alps of South America. And so they are a partner district with us at 6110. And we sent a delegation down last year in November. In about 2 weeks, our delegation is going to be going back again for 2 weeks. And several of the folks who are going there, 8 of them, and several are from the Tulsa area. You may know Lisa Engel and some others who will be doing that, and John Raines, who you know, and Kathy will be attending. What I was going to get at is that they sent a delegation of basically their officers, the governor and everybody else, up here in March of this year. And they had 14 days that they were up here, and one day they came to Nevada, believe it or not. And my, what an experience for our club, because we met with them, they told about their projects, and it was just this epiphany to everybody in our club that, hey, these people are from half a world away in the southern hemisphere, and yet they want to do the same things for their country and their club and their community that we want to do. Finally, I think you have been involved with international students here some, haven't you? Where you've hosted and sent kids and others have come here. That's a great way to see that international character. This district, 6110, has a lot of kids that we both send and we receive. And another one, if any of you have any children or grandchildren who are interested in international sorts of things, they can go on month-long international exchanges. This daughter of ours who lives with her husband in Switzerland got started at age 15 when she got on the plane to go to Finland by herself and spend a month with a Rotary family there, and then their kid came and stayed with us, and she did the same thing with France, and all of a sudden she became very international in her perspective. So, international, we're very, very international. Number 3, Rotary has a great reputation. Now, I don't know if any of you have had this experience, but if you were in Singapore or Melbourne, Australia, or wherever you were, and you had your Rotary shirt on, people look at you and smile. And that means they have a good vibe of some kind. They don't know everything about Rotary, but they recognize that wheel and that really good things have occurred in their country, orchestrated by their Rotarians to make their place better. And so our reputation is phenomenal. and we are able to use that in a lot of the things that we do. Number 4 is our infrastructure is incredible. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that other than government, there's no organization that I know of that has the infrastructure that we do. Now, interestingly, there are, anybody want to guess how many clubs there are in the whole world? 33,000, how about that? 33,000 Rotary clubs in 200 countries in the world. And just like yours is, you have an officer cadre, you're organized, you're trained, you do very well with that. We're organized into 530 districts. And of course, we're District 6110 here. And, but the average district has about 40 clubs. And it's really an interesting thing to interact with the other governors, which leads me to the 3rd level of organization. I hadn't even heard of it until I had joined the governor line. It's called zone. The world is organized into 34 zones, and each zone has about 20 districts in it. So we're zone 31 right here, which is the central and southern part of the United States. Why do we do that? It's because we can have great educational programs that the zone hosts, and all the international officers come for those. Susie, or any of you, have you ever been to any of the zone meetings? Okay, it's going to be in Oklahoma City. We're going to have one next year. You might think about that. It'd be really interesting. But for me as a governor, I'll tell you what I really appreciate is having a peer group of other governors that I can talk to. And I'll tell you one thing I learned. Whoa, how lucky we are in 6110. We're one of few that has an office and an administrator. Now, I bet you all know where the office is. What community is it in?
Tulsa.
We're standing here, it's in Tulsa.
South.
Where it is.
Over by 71st Street.
63rd.
Yeah,
and-
sure.
and
What's that big road anyway?
Memorial, it's right off there,
Yeah.
and Cole is our
I
administrator.
had no idea
So,
where it was.
and believe it or not, we have an office there, and then this young lady named Colette or Cole Adamson, who knows everything about Rotary. How many of you have ever spoken to her? Yeah.
And she's coming tonight.
Oh, she is.
Oh, yeah,
Yay!
that's a great
What a nice young lady she is, and so we're really lucky, and because most districts don't have that. In fact, I was talking to a poor guy who was the governor in the St. Louis area, and we were talking about maintaining records and so on. And I said, "Well, where's your office, or what do you do?" He said, "It's in the back of my truck." And I said, "What?" I said, "I drive a truck too, but I'm not going to haul around 6110's records in the back of my truck." And then I guess the next poor governor, they dump it in his or her
Yeah.
truck. So, So we are very fortunate to have what we have, and it makes our district better. And finally, it's Rotary International. Now, how many of you have ever been to Evanston, to the internet? Oh, you have. Yeah. Oh, you have. It's a pretty neat place, isn't it?
I used to be stationed up the road from there.
Oh,
At Great Lakes.
At the Great Lakes?
Yes, at the
Okay.
hospital.
Well, anyway, Marilyn and I were up there in October of last year, and we were very impressed. It's a big building and a big operation. There are 800 people there managing or helping to manage these 33,000 clubs around the world. It is extremely international. And in fact, the young man who is the connection for our district is named Darwin San Pedro, who's from Ecuador originally. And so here again, we have this international sense of cooperation. Finally, and the crown jewel of Rotary is the Rotary Foundation. Now, there were actually Rotary clubs in this district before there was a foundation. You may know, does anybody here know what the earliest Rotary club was in this district? You wouldn't guess it. It was Muskogee, Oklahoma in 1913. That was only 8 years after the Rotary movement started. And then they were the ones who were evangelical to get started a club in Tulsa and various other places. And so anyway, it is interesting, that history there, and that the foundation was started in 1917, and there was this guy named Arch Klump who was at that time the president of this just exploding organization called Rotary. And he said, "I'm going to give $26.50 that someday will grow into a fund that will do a lot of good in the world. My, what a prescient comment, because it has now grown to $2 billion, and we've got stuff going on everywhere. There are 1,200 international projects of various kinds around the world. There are 400 in the North American area, including our area. In Joplin, the Miracle Field for Children with Disabilities was built by Rotary International Funds. And then we have 105 disaster grants, which I really think number 106 will probably be the southeast part of the United States, where the hurricanes went through recently. But at any rate, so certainly you all know what our big project is that we've been working on for 34 years. It starts with a P. Polio. And I have something here for you folks that I wanted to give you. And I believe you asked about it, so you should be a co-recipient here. But congratulations, this is recognition for all that you have done with regards to Polio Plus.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
All right.
Yay.
Not to
And-
mention the pair of shorts up the flagpole.
Well, you gotta get it however you can, right? If you want to talk about somewhere else, talk about Zambia in Central Africa. Malaria has devastated that area for, since the beginning of time. And so the Rotarians in Zambia got together and got a $30 million grant from Rotary International. And they have orchestrated an effort to reduce malaria, which in 3 years has been reduced by 50%. So there's just story after story after story, and if you all look at the Rotary magazine, you'll see a lot talked about with regard to that every time. And so you may say, well, how do we all participate in that here? And we had a conversation at our table about this thing called the District Designated Funds. And hopefully all of you know that Rotary Foundation sends back money to the district to distribute to the clubs that participate. And so each year, I'm sure you participate, and you get $3,000 this year to help with your projects, and which is pretty neat, isn't it? So if you have, like Nevada, we have 4 $1,000 scholarships and about $500 for dictionaries each year. Of that $4,500 that we spend for those projects, we get $3,000 back from the district by way of Rotary Foundation. And that is a way that we help the clubs do their things locally. So it comes back to meet us. Well, who here recognizes the name of Ed Hardest? I was asked about him. Because we have ecclesiastical people here, I think of him as John the Baptist, who's been preaching in the wilderness for 20 years about the Rotary Foundation and teaching us all the good things that it does. And yet the trouble is that we've never had an organized effort to encourage those who might like to either have a bequest or a major gift to help move forward the Rotary Foundation. That is happening for the first time ever this year. It's called a legacy campaign. It started in March. It'll be done March the 31st of this year, and of 2025. And then we'll have a celebration dinner in Rogers, Arkansas on May the 2nd. And it's really doing really, really well. So if there's some of you who are interested, maybe you've thought about having a bequest or a major gift that you wanted to give to Rotary, this is the time to do it. And it will expand the amount of those district designated funds that come back to all of our clubs to be able to use for their local projects also. So please think about that, and we would be happy to give you information if you were interested in that. The normal measure of benevolence in Rotary has been the Paul Harris Fellowship. How many of you here are Paul Harris Fellows? Okay. Mr. President, could I have you come up for just a moment, please? And let's give him a round of applause because he is the newest Paul Harris Fellow. And we have a fancy pin. How about
Thank you
that?
so much. Wow.
And then you, sir, I have something for you too.
There we go.
And you have been active in the Paul Harris Society, and so here is your certificate and the chevron that goes on your pin that you've got.
My word.
Yeah, so congratulations on that.
Governor, I'm
you know.
Well,
I'm just glad it's not a pair of shorts up.
well, we are what we are, aren't we? But your club, in other words, what I'm really getting at, has a tradition of benevolence. Thank you very much. It's really neat. And in concluding, I want to thank every single one of you as individuals, because by being Rotarians, you're making this club, but also your community and the world a better place. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I love it when you come. You're always full of surprises.
Never know what I've got.
We like surprises. We like surprises. One thing I forgot, I didn't mention any birthdays or anniversaries. Is there anything that anyone has? I forgot to look it up before I came.
I didn't see any this morning.
Yeah, I didn't.
We send that around every day. So.
But anybody have any good news to share or anything? Or we'll talk about it tonight. I forgot.
That's right.
Well, we've gone from 12 signed up last Tuesday to 53 signed up.
Touchdown.
Yeah. And that's all because of Cole, who helped me put out a newsletter, or a blurb to all the Oklahoma clubs, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Susie, would you mind joining me up here while we give these little gifts out too?
Oh, sure.
I would love for you to be part of that. Yeah, I think that's, we're good. All right, we would like to invite you guys back up here, Dr. Warren,
Okay.
Marilyn, and Larry
Sure.
as well. We just have a small little
Oh,
gift
wow.
presentation. We'll surprise you. Oh, I thought you had, never mind, Larry, you stay sitting down.
We'll get you some.
We'll get you something, Larry, I forgot.
So-
Sorry, you said- I thought she said it was for Larry. You love how organized we are?
It works out.
So we have, Will Rogers from the church, and this is, Will Rogers brand. Tell me what it's called.
Dog iron.
What is it?
Dog
called?
iron.
Dog
Dog
iron.
iron.
Dog iron. Yeah, like, I
You'll
guess
have to Google
so.
that.
Yeah, but that is,
You dropped it.
It's fragile.
but that is,
Well, thank you.
Will Rogers brand.
Thank you very
All
much. We
right,
appreciate
and
it.
Marilyn, for you, we have, Polio Plus Rotarian Cookbook.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
So thank you all for
Thank you
coming,
very much.
yes,
We really
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really nice to meet you.
All right, if we don't have anything else, we'll conclude with the 4-way test. If you can stand,
We gave those branding irons in place of a flag. Everybody that came to the club brought a flag, every visiting Rotary brought a flag, and we gave them a branding iron.
Well, who else has a branding?
I know,
And one of our past district governors, he was a past president of this club, Dwight Stevens, he's the one that was responsible.
oh,
Wow.
those are cool.
But we embrace Will Rogers.
Learn the history. All right, is it the truth?
Truth.
Is
Is
it
it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be fun?
Will
It
anybody
will be
find
tonight.
out?
We're gonna have fun
Yeah.
tonight.
Thank you guys for being here.
Well, thank
Oh,
you
and we
very
didn't do
much.
the
We
raffle. I'm
appreciate it.
sorry, I forgot the raffle.
Oh, uh-oh.
Where's the basket at?
I was back yonder. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to have you, perform
Throw it
one,
off?
Oh, yes. Well,
administrative
Marilyn,
duty.
we're gonna
for
have
us.
the
Can't
assessment of
leave yet.
blame. You're supposed to pull out something.
All right, which one of you wants to pull out a ticket?
Marilyn's gonna pour
Marilyn's gonna pull it.
Pull the
She's
right.
pretty shit.
it. Last 3 numbers.
019.
019. Who's got that one?
It's probably Stan, it's his every week.
Yeah, it's 019.
Yay!
Take the proceeds and we please pay it forward.
Polio Plus, right?
Polio Plus.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay?
All right.
We are officially adjourned. We'll see most of you at 5:30.